You're 8 years old. You come home from school, pull the key from your pocket, open the door. Nobody's home. Mom's at work, dad too. You drop your backpack, walk to the kitchen, make yourself a sandwich, sit down alone. Nobody checks if you finished. Nobody asks how your day went. You just wait. Sometimes until 8, sometimes longer. One American study found that by the mid-1980s, roughly 7 million children between the ages of 5 and 13 were regularly left home alone after school. Not an exception, a whole generation, every single day, across the country. A generation that learned one simple thing early: you can't always count on someone being there. Better to accept that. This is Generation X, people born roughly between 1965 and 1980. They're in their mid-40s to early 60s now. They don't talk about this publicly. They barely talk about anything publicly. But psychologists have studied them, and what they find explains a lot. Let's start with that empty house. It did something very specific to these people, not just built self-reliance. It wired into their thinking what researchers call a high-contingency environment. When there's no adult to soften consequences of your choices, you learn to think ahead, fast, very accurately. You understand, if I do this, that happens. No buffer, no negotiation. No one saying they'll talk to your father. Your brain starts calculating outcomes automatically, like a chess player who has only practiced against themselves. This is why Gen X tends to see problems at work before they become problems. That is not some kind of natural gift. It's a neural habit built in childhood, in a quiet kitchen, making a sandwich alone, with nobody around to help. Now let's talk about trust, because this is where things get significantly more complicated and more interesting. Gen X grew up watching their parents believe in the system, and watching the system let those parents down completely. They saw fathers give 20 years to one company and receive a pink slip in an envelope. That was the actual deal. They watched marriages collapse that seemed solid. Divorce rates through the 70s and 80s hit all-time highs. Roughly 1 in 2 marriages ended. They were told, work hard, follow the rules, and things will work out for you. Then the rules changed right in front of them. Psychologists call this defensive pessimism. Gen X calls it realistic. They are not cynics in the traditional sense. They are people who have seen the rug pulled out enough times to adapt. They stopped putting full weight on any floor. When something fails that consistently, you stop expecting it to hold. This explains their odd relationship with social media. Gen X grew up in an era when privacy was simply the default. If you messed up as a kid, maybe a handful of people knew. No videos, no viral spread, just a few awkward memories. The idea of broadcasting your life to strangers doesn't feel like opportunity to them. It feels like pure exposure. Not because they don't understand the technology, because they learned early that less visibility means more safety. They didn't step back from public life by accident. They made a deliberate and considered choice. That matters to them. But here's what's genuinely fascinating. Despite all the guardedness, despite deep distrust of institutions and systems, Gen X built one of the most durable work ethics ever documented by sociologists. They don't talk about it at all. They don't post about it. They just do the work. Quietly, without an audience, without waiting for acknowledgement. That ethic was forged through very specific early experience. Paper routes at 5 in the morning, groceries at 12. Jobs that nobody their age today has even heard of. These were not resume builders. There was simply no such thinking. They were raw first contact with how the adult world operates. No grace period, no buffer, nobody watching over you. They don't believe in company loyalty. They've seen what the corporate world does with that loyalty. They watched it. But they are completely loyal to their own competence. That is the single variable they can actually control and own. They can't know if they'll get laid off, but they can be the most valuable person in the room when it does happen. This is where the most interesting paradox in Gen X psychology shows up. They are simultaneously the most independent and the most quietly collaborative people. Both things at once, in the same person. They will never ask for help. They'll figure it out themselves. They've been doing that since they were 8, and it's simply how they operate. But if you ask them for help, they show up. No explanation, no social media post, no invoice. They just show up. This isn't a contradiction. It's the product of friendships formed out of necessity when parents simply weren't there. When there are no adults around, you hold tight to whoever is there. Without announcement. Without making it a thing. One American study found Gen Xers report significantly lower rates of seeking social support during stressful periods. Not because they have nobody to call, because asking for help feels like admitting defeat. That is how it registers. That is not personality. That is architecture built in childhood, in a quiet apartment, in a silence that taught you. Their relationship with authority is its own story. They respect competence, not titles, not rank, not seniority at all. Earn your place through actual skill, and they will follow you anywhere. No hesitation, completely and totally all in. Occupy an impressive chair without earning it, and you get zero patience and zero respect from them. Absolutely nothing. That is the logic of people who watched incompetent adults make serious decisions with enormous consequences for others, and watched nobody be held accountable for any of it. That combination does something lasting to how you see authority. Part of this comes from the specific moment they came of age in. Watergate, Iran-Contra, the fumbled AIDS response. They didn't study these in class later. They watched them unfold in real time, on television, as they were happening. The adults in charge did what they did, and Gen X was told not to worry. When that repeats itself enough times, you stop trusting anyone who says everything is under control. That trust does not come back. It is simply gone. And there is one more thing almost never discussed. Gen X grew up with a very different relationship to knowledge. Before the internet, information had a physical cost. To find an answer, you went to the library and found the book. You flipped through pages yourself. It took real time and real effort. No algorithm did it for you. You had to go. Cognitive psychologists call this deeper encoding. Information through effort integrates into memory more permanently. They didn't search for the answer in 30 seconds. They went and found it. And that feeling, that knowledge costs, stayed with them permanently. The same applies to the physical world. They know how to fix things with their own hands. Chain slipped off your bike? Flip it over, get grease on your fingers, and figure it out. Nobody called a technician. This built a conviction. With enough patience and a screwdriver, you can handle most of what this world throws at you. Economically, Gen X probably drew the worst hand of any post-war generation. Youngest graduated into the dot-com crash. The oldest were hitting peak earning years when 2008 hit. Multiple full economic collapses, each time as a participant, not a spectator. Not someone who read about it afterward. Someone inside it while it was happening every single time. This is why they're more likely to carry multiple income streams. Not entrepreneurial instinct, something more basic. They know from personal, repeated experience that nothing lasts forever. That is not pessimism. It is what they know. Maybe the most accurate description of Generation X is one simple metaphor. They are a bridge. That's what they are. The last generation to grow up without the internet, and the first generation to fully learn how to work within it. The last generation that knows what it feels like to sit alone with your thoughts. No feed, no notifications, no background noise filling every available second of silence. Just you and your own mind. They know what that means. They stand between two worlds and fully belong to neither one. And bridges don't tend to get much attention at all. They just stand there, hold things together, do the work. And they don't wait around for anyone to notice them. That is the most accurate thing about Generation X. Not what they lacked, but how much they built from what they have.